What's the most common misconception business leaders still have about corporate taxation?
I think the most common misconception that, and today also in our panels we discussed this and we got to know the answer that it's more the fact that it's still a compliance, it's not a strategic role.
What does a future ready tax function look like?
From a future perspective, automation should be the key. Definitely, that we need to build up tax technology so that a lot of things can get automated.
Welcome to the Boardroom series. Today we are going to talk to Mr. Akshay Khandooja, who is the tax director at Americana Foods. Hi Akshay, how are you doing?
Hi Rashmi, thank you for inviting me.
So today we are going to have a rapid fire with you, and I have few questions to ask. So first question for you is Akshay, from a large FMCG group perspective, what has been the toughest tax challenge of the UAE first corporate tax cycle?
When we talk about tax has a lot of dependencies, and when we talk about dependencies, we work closely with finance teams, IT teams, and many other teams to eventually get to the final result of how the numbers be computed. So the learning from the first UAE corporate tax cycle is how to build that database, which involves multifunctional, multidisciplinary teams from other departments and get the data in the first place.
Great. Coming to our next question, what's one compliance control you believe every multi-entity group must get right to stay audited?
So, from an audit perspective, the key information is data, data, and data. So that's the one thing which every organization should ensure, whether it's by way of contracts, by way of reports, report readiness, or analysis of those reports.
Okay. So how closely is tax now involved in business and pricing decisions at the leadership level?
So, for key major or routine key routine events, decisions, tax may not be involved, but definitely for key major decisions which are taken at the leadership or the board level, definitely tax is considered as one of the key factors, whether it's setting up a new company, acquiring a new company, merging, demerging businesses, how it is going to impact our bottom lines. And sometimes earlier, before introduction of corporate tax, it was top down when the numbers were computed top down from a net profit perspective. But I think now leaders have realized that it's bottom up. The reason is that a large portion of your income goes towards taxation. So definitely, your pricing has to inculcate the impact of tax on your overall sales.
So e-invoicing is coming fast. What's the biggest readiness gap you see in the large operating business?
Awareness is the key. Whatever from a tax perspective or for any law perspective, whenever it gets introduced for the first time, definitely creating awareness about that uh, new legislation or new law or new process is the primary thing that every business should do in the organization, outside the organization, and self-learning. Self-learning on that topic itself is the first thing which every organization or as a tax head one should do. And then, of course, when that step or that hurdle or that awareness is created internally and from an external source, then apparently what we should do is now to tie up ends where as to see how that can be fruitified into the end goal, which is the implementation part. So I think I would want to see that every person should of course get themselves updated about what invoicing is, how invoicing is applicable, and how will it predominantly work. You don't have to get into the technical side of that, but at least at in but from your perspective, you should be able to simply explain the various stakeholders to whom you have to to whom you have to take along with, in this journey to help them understand what is the requirement and how are we going to achieve about it.
Right. Upskilling is very much, I agree with that point. So moving to the next question. If you had to pick one area to invest in this year, what it would be? People, process, redesign, tax technology?
I think tax technology and processes, if we have that as a streamlined, then apparently people will automatically get upskilled. Once you invest in tax technology, you understand the entire processes. When the processes are uplifted or rectified or redesigned eventually, then definitely your people also get to understand why is why this is being done, how is it being done, and what the end results are. So if you start with the technology aspect of it, then the processes, and then of course the people will definitely fall in place.
Right, that's correct. So, what's the most common misconception business leaders still have about corporate tax in India?
I think the most common misconception that, and today also in our panels we discussed this and we got to know the answer, that it's more the fact that it's still a compliance, it's not a strategic role, uh, and that's what I think a lot of businesses are still continuing to live with that way.
Right, that's correct. So, in one sentence, if you have to say, what does a future ready tax function look like for a consumer driven organization?
From a future perspective, automation should be the key. Definitely, that we need to build up tax technology so that a lot of things can get automated. The reporting becomes quicker, the positions become clearer, and the bridge always is that what is happening in the ground and how you are able to percolate it or transmit that message to the leadership. If that bridge can be, uh, you know, that bridge can be sort of made in a way which is simpler, it can be simplified for the leadership. I think that's how every tax function should look like, or work towards.
And today also we discussed very good points about it in the panel discussion. You have got very good points, and that was really very interesting, very insightful. Thank you for moderating that session. It went really well. So, what's one insight from today's summit that you are definitely taking back to your organization?
The relationship, the between the teams, one is that the parameters on which decisions should be made from a tax perspective, risk friendly or risk averse, or how should those messages be communicated to the respective stakeholders. I think these are the three very important things which I'll take away from this panel discussion we've had.
Thank you for giving your
Thank you.
time and thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. Thank you.